Hey there, friends. There we go. I think we're live. Is it live or Memorex, huh? So good morning. Um, or I guess almost afternoon. Well, I guess it depends on what time zone you're in. Let me adjust this. A little behind the scenes. Ooh, wrong direction. Wrong direction. There we go. So I don't know about you, but I got some good stuff done in the hour between our TikTok live and YouTube live. I'll tell you more about that. But as I wait for people to join in on this 11 a.m. Eastern YouTube live on Friday, the 13th of 2026 of February, I'm gonna delight myself by scrolling through pillows, mid-century modern pillows, and imagining them. Mhm. Yep. And, yeah, and I'm imagining those pillows on one of my new chair, and I wanna make that chair the best it can be, but we're giving it a new pillow. Good morning. Carla Jane, good morning. I was thinking of you because I have your email popped up here, talking ain't talking about love. We're actually talking about love. Okay. And Marietta, happy Friday to you as well. Happy Friday to you and to everybody else. Now I see 9 people. Oh, we got an 11 and we got 1 thumbs up. Any more thumbs up? Um, hey, there we go. Stacy Babbage is calling it. By the way, hubby couldn't move the fridge and freezer in basement storage. Realized it wouldn't work. I knew it. Yay. Well, the good news is he knows it too. So the lingering doubt of would that have worked? He doesn't have to worry about that anymore, huh? Love it. Kathy with a C, nice to see you. Narelle, nice to see you as well. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Now, even those of us who have a kind of a more flexible schedule than others, at least the world I live in definitely seems like the 9 to 5. There's a what is it, the 5 o'clock world, the Monday through Friday, and then the Monday through Friday. Shannon is asking Carla. So Carla, Shannon is asking, how was your job interview? So I love that you remember that. Carla, feel free to clue her in. I know Carla's been feeling a wee bit under the weather, but she can speak for herself. So yeah, here we are in a room full of strangers. Here we are for the next 58 minutes or so. And let's make it a good one. Harkening back to just this past hour, I wrote down some things. I got some things done. I actually got more done than I expected to because one of the things I will share with you is right here, trash can, notice more cassette tapes. Happy to be done with them. Realizing that basically what they were tapes that I used to listen to. This is going to age me, but so does my face. When I was using a Walkman with a cassette. And so some of them were they were unlabeled. Had they been labeled, it would have been easier for me to go through them. So I remind you, if you're keeping stuff for the future, make sure you label it. It will be easier for you to go through, or if you pass, somebody else to decide it. And so I share with you, label, label, label. Okay. Because some of these things I had to just spend some extra time listening through some of these cassettes. And basically, like 2 or 3 of them, if not 4 of them, were just me having taped an album on one side, flipped it, taped an album on the other side. So I could listen to it when I was commuting on the train when I lived outside of Boston. Okay. But enough about me. Let's talk about Carla Jane. Made the highest score in her civil exam, a 98. Awesome. The interview went well. We will see. Yeah. Yay. Fingers crossed for you. But even if it doesn't work out, prepare for if it doesn't work out. How am I going to feel? Kind of like when we buy things and we bring them into our houses and we say, well, what if it doesn't work out? Okay. So make a plan. Just start to get comfortable with. If it doesn't work out, what is going to make me feel okay about it? And I will share this with you. There are many things in my past that I was crushed when things didn't work out. And then I was so glad later on that they didn't work out because even better things were up, down the road for me. Okay. So, yay if it works, and yay if it doesn't. Trust that something, if it doesn't work out, that means there's something better ahead for you. And notice that, Carla Jane, I love this about you. Exactly. I am totally good if it doesn't. If anything, you've already proved to yourself that you're not, getting dull because you're not back in the workforce. You're still the high scorer. And if it doesn't fit, it means maybe it wasn't meant to be, or maybe it wasn't meant to be for now. I like to say, and I wish it came out a bit snappier, like you could embroider on a pillow. And it's like the answer isn't no. Perhaps the answer is just not now. So maybe later, or not this, but something better. That's a fun thing that I got from one of my friends, and I have it written down here from October of 1922. What am I, 100? Yes, good things are coming your way. Good things come your way. And if you are moving forward to them, you'll get to them closer because they're coming this way and you're going that way. And you're going to meet cute on the road. A friend of mine said, always remember to add or better. I would like this or better. Because if you just stay to this, that may be only you're comfortable asking. I am happy to just get on that plane. I don't care where I sit. Noted. You will be happy in coach. But you add this magic ingredient. And you say, I want to just get on that plane or better. I want to be mysteriously, unbeknownst to me, for whatever reason, I don't care how, perhaps I get upgraded to business or first class. I also would like that. So add that little kind of spice to whatever you're thinking of. I would like to get this or better. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, and Carla Jane, you've mentioned this a couple of times. So notice this is something that you are noticing yourself. It's almost sad. 2/3 of the Civil Service Board literally said it hasn't gotten better since you left here. So why do you want to come back? So personally, I would get curious about your answer. You don't need to share it with me, but I will say, going in with eyes open, if nothing has changed, just know that. And maybe if you get it, you can go in, but please note, if something hasn't changed except for you, perhaps you're going to be better to deal with something that hasn't gotten better. Or maybe the universe, as I like to say, is keeping you from something that you're not meant to be a part of. Just saying. There we go. So Carla Jane is noticing. She's appreciating free health insurance in this country, especially. And now I know how to have boundaries. Yes, good fences make good neighbors. I read that on a trivet once, okay? So noticing that that place may not have changed, but you have changed. Think about that when you meet people from your past, that they haven't changed, but you know what has changed is you, because you're thinking and feeling and acting differently. You are raising your vibe. Now, speaking of Carla Jane, she wanted to make sure, ain't talking about love. Well, we're not Van Halen, so we are going to be talking about love today. All right. So Carla had mentioned this for one of our YouTube, our declutter parties. Okay. But the declutter parties, tomorrow we have some declutter parties scheduled. And she loves having a theme. Ain't nothing wrong with a theme. And she says, and I'm going to paraphrase, but I thought it might be cool to talk about what we have loved on our own decluttering journey. Maybe what we have found that we have been looking for, what we have let go of that we're thankful we could have, and discovered what we thought we could not get rid of, But yes, let's use the word love. Let's make the word love our drink, our hydration drink. I'll start. Feel free to chime in the chat. Okay. I love the fact that even right now with these cassettes, I am so much more confident and brave about facing, dealing, interacting with things that previous versions of me had been too scared and fearful and afraid of. I love being able to easily let go of things that I literally have been carrying around for decades, both in terms of physical weight and also emotional weight. letting go of what I care about people. I love that I don't care about what people think of me anymore. And not only the bad and the good. I am not necessarily saving things that I think are cool in the hopes that somebody else sees it in my house, because nobody's coming to my house anymore. Okay. So I love that I now can feel the difference when I'm out shopping or looking at stuff, at things that are just okay, or things that I really am drawn to and really love. I am noticing the magnetism of being drawn towards something, and do I really want it? And if I do, yes. But yesterday I went out and I was looking for something specific, and I basically didn't find it. And I almost settled for what wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But then I stopped myself and I said, no, you know what? I deserve to get what I want. And I love that I didn't buy the dishes that had chips in them because, well, they're only $8 and there's 20% off and they're good enough. No, I deserve bowls without chips in them. I love every time I look at my bowl that doesn't have a chip on it, because every time I would look at a bowl that had chips in it, I would say I settled for something when I deserve something better. Yeah. I love this. Marietta has been quietly making major progress. See, I love quiet progress. I love sharing wins, but I want to make sure that we are all doing the inner work, not just externalizing things. But yay for the external encouragement. Been quietly making major progress on my bedroom and office area this week. Awesome. Yay, Marietta. I rid my office of all my son's stuff to the basement. I love that you added that it's labeled. So I can remove all my office stuff from our bedroom sanctuary. And then, yeah, turn your bedroom, I almost said basement, turn your bedroom back into a sanctuary. Doing this by categories, love it. Notice chunking down categories and completed organizing and labeling all my magazines like piles and piles of them. Okay, your piles of magazines are probably like my piles of cassettes. And so think about that. How does that feel? I hope you're feeling good, Marietta. I am glad you're doing the work for yourself. That I'm kind of psyched to hear that some of the things you're doing align with the help that I offer and the steps that I recommend. So yay that I know I am sensing that those steps are working for you. So that encourages me to keep on asking that. And I love this. Marietta just wrote, it feels like it's possible now. And the neat thing is because you're already there. You are already feeling that feeling of, yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm making progress. Yes, this is happening. Yay. So, yeah. And Marietta, I am so pleased with you for doing the work for yourself. Yay for you. That is good stuff. I know the road has not always been easy for any of us. There's health issues, there's holidays, there's drama, there's weather, there's other people. All of those things are part of a road trip. But not giving up on your destination, even if you get sidetracked, even if you get a flat tire. You could decide to have a flat tire and stay stuck and be like, that's it, I give up, I'm sitting here on the side of the road. But not you, not us. No. We notice, okay, yep, I got a flat tire, but I still am excited to get to my destination. So I will take this in stride. I will take this, pothole in stride. Yay. Carla Jane says, I love, because we're using the word love, I'll sip some of my tea. Having found this community and finding I was not alone. Seeing and hearing how other people and rocking it. Yes. Notice this. And also notice, Carla Jane, you did not find a community You helped create it. You are part of this community. Without you and without all of us, there would be no community. So you are contributing. You are doing something to maintain this thing that you want. Yeah. There we go. And I love this. I love this. Marietta says it came from the Play with Your Toys. And I am so grateful to that for you letting me know. I love all my home design magazines, especially at the beach. So organizing them lets me play with my favorite toys. Yes, I love that too. I am actually psyched. I have two. Remember, I started with like a stack of cassettes. I now literally have two that I need to go through and look at the. I know these are filled with some fun stuff because I taped stuff off of the radio and the TV. And I already have some notes that I took about these, but I didn't put a date on them. So I am excited to go through these. I am going to enjoy playing with these toys. And it really makes me feel good, Marietta, to know that that phrase landed with you. Because one of my fears from the past is that I have tried to help people with those same words. I think of my father, for example. I hope he enjoyed playing with his toys versus just acquiring. Now, acquiring things has its own parts of joy too. But then playing with your toys reminds you of why you got it and why you continue to keep it. If it doesn't bring you joy, you may be more likely to let it go. I'm doing that with myself now, even with some things that I purchased, and I'm being a lot more particular about what I bring into my house. If it's only kind of meh, I hold off. Yay. Lady Bandit loves looking at my books on my bookshelf. They each have a special meaning to me. Now, that's an interesting thing too, Lady Bandit. I was just going through my books very superficially yesterday, and there are some that I really love more than others. But I keep most of them there because, frankly, it would start to look empty if I emptied them out. And so I'm okay with keeping them. Do I love them all? No, but they are serving a purpose and looking like, again, I often say, like, if I didn't have all this, if I didn't have this storage, and I will again caution you on thinking that storage is a solution to your decluttering or your clutter. Sometimes it is, but sometimes storage creates its own clutter. Because if I didn't have this shelf, I would probably have I would own far fewer of these items right here. But I imagine myself with that shelf empty, and it feels weird. I could take that shelf away, but then what would I put in that area? And I think, well, I could put a bed, I could put a smaller shelf, but then whatever. So I'm okay with the way it is. I don't mind it. I love looking at my bookshelves and seeing them full and looking good. So yay, love. What else do you love? What's a love you have discovered through your decluttering journey? TikTok lives. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys, and it gives my life something to look forward to. And not just to me being the one who's telling you the stuff and trying to solve the problems, though I totally enjoy that, but being a part of the community, checking in with people, not feeling as so alone as Carla mentioned, And notice that when you do some decluttering, it can inspire you to. Lady Bandit says it makes me really think about keeping my other books. It has given me motivation to go through the rest. Now, again, motivation and going through stuff. Again, I go back to these cassettes that I decided randomly last Saturday when we were doing a declutter party to see what was in one of my train cases. And I decided to actually spend some time this week to go through them. By tomorrow's declutter parties, I may have these last two cassettes that I want to go through gone through. And I'm going to feel good about it. Yeah, it has motivated me doing a little bit, even this hour between the TikTok live and the YouTube live. I went through one cassette And then I looked at the clock and I said, hey, that was pretty easy. Pitched it in the trash. I'll try another one. And granted, they're all like, 60 minutes on each side type of thing, or however long, 30. I think 60. I could check. I fast forwarded. Oh, okay. Yep. I see what I was doing here. I see what I was doing here. Yep. This is still that album. Yep. Still that cassette tape. Okay. I can get through that one. I looked at the clock again. All right. Well, we've got, I don't know, 20 minutes before the declutter, before the YouTube. It really gave me motivation as well. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And to Marietta, the toys mean what items have I collected that I intend to use, like music, books, magazine, kitchen gadgets. So I'm focusing on those categories. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Notice I said love. I say love a lot. I try not to say hate, and I sprinkle love throughout my speech like confetti. Mary Lou says, I love the simple fact that I have the capability of letting things go without regret. Now, you say that's a simple fact, and it is simple, but sometimes the simple things can be very powerful. Yeah, I have the capability. Notice how it feels to even say this. Let's repeat after Mary Lou. I have the capability to let things go without. I am capable. I am lovable and capable. It just keeps getting easier as years go by. Yeah, I can easily let things go without regret. And to easily let things go, not always being so tightly clenched around something, that I can easily release my grip and see what it is and decide to keep it or decide to let it go. The choice is mine. But it's hard to see things when you're all clenched up looking at them. All right? Just keeps getting easier as me. Yes, I want my reality to match my intentions, says Marietta. I found this incredible statue of a yak I bought in Nepal, and I had completely forgotten I owned. And it was because I had mentally given up my office to my son. Notice you've now reclaimed your office from your son's stuff. Yeah. Now, Laura Voorhees says, joy is part of love. I enjoy having a space that feels calming. When I'm in that space, I feel calm, and that feels good. My piano room has plants all around, and the windows and the love seat. Sitting amongst the greenery helps me. It's a happy place where I don't feel the need to tidy up. Yeah, so please also be comfortable with your level of daily clutter, and do not always force yourself to tidy up. Allow yourself a little bit of wiggle room and lived in look. As I said, oftentimes when you and I are meeting, because we're in the same room, I've got stuff around me and I feel okay with it. I like a tidy place. And so when I tidy, it's because of me. But yes, notice calming. Calming. There we go. It can be like Christmas to declutter. You're right, Marietta. It is a treasure hunt. Notice how we say maps. Maps help us get to a destination. Think about this as a treasure hunt. And you find treasures along the way to the treasure chest, so that when you get to the treasure chest, your arms are already full of wonderful experiences you have felt and discovered. It's like when you pull up your car to that cool mid-century modern place in Palm Springs after starting the road trip in Pennsylvania, and acquiring experiences and stories and memories along that road trip. So when you come there, you're not showing up empty, you're showing up full and feeling good about having arrived, feeling good, having accumulated lessons and wisdom and good feelings and ways to feel good throughout the journey. That's what it's all about. And yeah, I found a Red Sox World Series magazines and tickets from 2008 and before, well preserved in Ziploc bags. Right. So at a certain point, you are well preserving those in plastic. I love it. We had an old newspaper that my father-in-law, did you hear me? That was the total Boston. My father-in-law kept, and he wrapped it in saran wrap to keep it fresh. So I love that. Yeah. Yes. Loving yourself through the process. Having love for yourself every day. Doing your decluttering as an act of love to your current self, to your past self, and to your future self. Past me felt afraid of being judged if I didn't wear the right clothes. I love that person so much that I can easily let go of these clothes that don't feel right to me now or maybe never did in the past. I love myself enough to know that this is who I am and this is how I show up. And if people are going to judge me from always wearing the same thing, then those aren't the people I want to hang around with. And notice Marietta is discovering things, and not just things, but these things that trigger an idea, these things that trigger, that pop up an emotion or a thought that you decide you want to do. Now I can create a World Series scrapbook like I always dreamed I would. You're making your own dreams come true. When you declutter, you give your dreams an opportunity to bubble up to the surface, to be uncovered, or maybe just having something you've never thought before kind of click. That happened to me literally this morning when I was looking at my living room and realizing that I might want to get some more furniture for it because it's looking a little bit empty, but I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden I was like, I never had this idea before, but this could work. And I jotted it down. Yeah. But the only reason I could do that is because we had kind of sculpted away all that we didn't want. And this is what we have. Right. Now, notice this. Marietta says, my clutter has been killing my creativity. Here's a fun thing. First of all, your creativity cannot be killed. You might be suffocating it a bit, but think of your creativity as always being alive under the surface. Even if it is being suffocated, and if Kara were here, I'm sure she would be able to tell me more of like an official gardening way to put it. Drowning it, yep. Submerging it, not giving it the light maybe it needed, the oxygen it needed, but you can never kill your creativity. So just remember that. You may put things in the way to cover it up and stop it from being used and blooming. Over mulched. There we go. Each one of those things. As you move away your clutter, it's like the heavy oak leaves on top of your little crocuses. It is not allowing it to get what it needs to fully bloom, but it will never die. Yes, the overgrowth is choking out the life, but please remember it is always there under the surface. Now, this is a neat thing because this is one of the things I think of too. So notice when we're talking about creativity and the images that come to mind are things that are down. I am drowning. I am suffocating it. I am, covering it up. I am killing it like that. But it's always there under the surface, just waiting for you to remove those layers. As a reminder, it's the same thing with the sun. It's the same thing with clouds. Clouds, I looked at clouds from both sides now. Clouds can cover up the sun, but the sun is always there. Clutter may cover up temporarily your creativity, but it's always there. It will never be suffocated out until you have your last breath because you are a creative person. We are all creative people. We are creating, and our creative project is our lives. What do I do to create the life I love every moment, every day? Yeah. I've looked at clouds from both sides now. Yes, they can come. Sometimes you don't like the clouds. Other times, I don't know if you've been there, but when the sun is shining and you're like, oh, it's such a glare, you're thankful for a cloud. You say, thank you, cloud, because that was really too much. Other times you can rail at the clouds because you're saying, it's dark and it's gray and it's monotone. I just want to see the sunshine. But the clouds are temporary, and so is your clutter. At any time, you can push some of your clutter away and permanently or temporarily put it somewhere else so that you can allow you can allow your creativity to get some of that sunlight and that oxygen and that water. All the things that were covered, you were thinking too much of it was drowning. Too much water drowns. Too much oxygen, I don't know, dries things out. Too much sunshine, also not good, but the right amount. Allow yourself to experience that. Think of your life like something that you are clearing away the weeds. The weeds are the clutter, the things that are growing up there when you don't pay attention. That's my garden. I see the good stuff, but when I am not paying attention, when I am not aware, when I ignore, that's when the weeds grow up. And that's the same thing with clutter. So think of yourself, love yourself. Think about this area of right now we are in the time of the season where there are literally weeds there along with the crocuses, all just waiting for the situation to be right. And they're both going to bloom. Which one do you want to make more space for? Perhaps you clear away the weeds around from your crocus. And the weeds, sorry, they get a bad rap. Maybe they are not meant to grow there. They can grow somewhere else. So you pull them out and then you put them somewhere else to grow. How does that sound? Does that sound good? I think that sounds good. Does that have love in it? I hope it does. Yeah. And think of the love. Oh, Narelle. And notice this. Notice the power of music to connect us across the miles. Narelle says, I love that song. My dad had a small plane, and he often took me up above the clouds. I insisted on having it for his funeral. So you guys, I will share. I just felt some feels, and I feel like it's important to share. So today, we realized this morning when I got up early to create the life I wanted, meaning getting up early, setting my timer early, getting in the shower, walking down the street, and I say coffee with my friends. They had coffee, I had tea. And we realized that today is I believe the 2-year anniversary of our dear friend passing. And Narelle, you giving me the image in my head of the plane and the clouds reminded me of the time when our friend who passed and my husband and her husband and our friend all went skydiving. And I didn't go. I was a baby. It was nothing that I was interested in, but I went to document it because I wanted to join in on the fun. And I'm so glad I did because I got pictures of her looking so good. And I remember, and so happy about this and doing this thing before she passed when we still thought she had beat the cancer. And I'll never forget my husband saying, and this makes me think of you, Narelle, and your dad, and that when my husband was skydiving through the clouds, he could smell the clouds. He could almost taste them. And he never knew from down here the clouds had taste and smell. And so you mentioning me singing that song for whatever reason, connecting up and then you feeling safe to share a story, then allowed me to open up that file. Like it popped open the file of, oh my gosh, that reminds me of that. And then it also reminded me to honor the fact that my friend is gone. Yeah. And notice, Carla Jane, even that metaphor of I am digging and loving the pruning metaphoric vibe. It connects so much to me. And you know why I think it connects to you and a lot of people, ourselves, is because we are organic creatures. We live in the organic world. So of course it makes sense. It's so much more of a natural way to think about things, you know? Yeah. All righty. So Marietta, thank you for your sorrow. It's okay. I am sorry for my loss too. Each one of us has experienced loss. So my heart goes out to each and every one of us who has experienced loss. But my heart is still here, and my heart is still, it can cry and laugh and love at the same time. I can multitask in that way. I can I can cry right now, and then I can hear my friend's voice, and she was great. She was a tough cookie. And she would say, "Don't be a pussy. Come on. Man up." She would kind of, she knew I was a softie. She was much more of a punk rocker than I never would have been. Right? But thank you for that. But Marietta says about herself, a lot of these home design magazines that she has right now, notice the road trip, were accumulated back when I was a workaholic. And when I was a workaholic, I said, someday, one day, I will sit with my cup of tea, relaxing with my magazines in bliss. So just yesterday, I realized I could actually do that. So let's see. Now, Marietta, I just want to make sure, because I like to get into the details. You said yesterday you realized you could actually do it. Have you done it yet? Could you do it this weekend? Tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Valentine yourself. You know what I would love to do tomorrow? I would love to sit there with my cup of tea, relaxing with my magazines in bliss. Bliss. Because that is going to feel good now. And you can look back on your workaholic self and say, I'm doing it. Remember that thing we said we were going to do? We're doing it now. So I hope you already have done that. I hope you are continuing to do it. But if you haven't yet, that to me is make a plan. Don't postpone bliss. Make the bliss happen now, sooner rather than later. I say that because in less than 2 weeks, this time next week, 2 weeks from now, you ain't going to see me, because I'm going to be nice and warm in Palm Springs, California. Bliss. Yeah. Do not postpone it. I have been looking forward to and had made plans for this trip since last April. Yeah. Oh, Marietta. Yes, if we'd all like to take a collective minute of silence, maybe 30 seconds. I'll time it though. For my friend, Lindsay. Okay, I'm going to set a timer. And it can be for my friend. It can be for all of us who have lost somebody in our lives. Let's hold them in our hearts. We'll feel a bit of the sadness, but let's remind ourselves of what we loved about that person. Okay. Good idea, Marietta. Let's bring the love. Okay. Everybody, think of somebody you love that is no longer here, but they still live on in your heart. And let's, for a minute, remind ourselves not of what they were imperfect about, but what we loved about them. Okay. Judy Dukes, it's okay. Everybody, it's okay. It's been 2 years now. It will continue. My friend will always live on in my heart, as will all the people that have gone in your life. But let's pick one of them, picture them, and for the next minute, I'll even put on a minute timer. Let's just sit in a moment of silence and conjure up the love we have for the people that are no longer physically in our lives, but live on in our hearts. Let's bring the love, okay? I've started the timer. For anybody who thinks chunking it down doesn't work, did you notice how long an hour, a minute felt? One of the things that popped up for me that I'll just offer to you, because maybe it did, was I was thinking of my friend. I was thinking of my dad. I was thinking of my great aunt. And I said to myself, what is something I loved about that person while they were here? What is something I still admire about them? And words like generosity, of fearlessness, of kindness, of not taking shit from anybody. Those were all things that I remembered with love about those people. And the neat thing is I realized that I will continue to have those people alive in my heart when I act like them. The things that I admired in them are the things that I would like more of in my own life. And even if I have it, to continue it. I will continue to be kind. I will continue to be generous. I will continue to not put up with somebody's shit. And each time I do that, I can call on the strength of those people that live on in my heart, who showed me that it was possible to be that kind of person on this planet. So think about the people you love presently. What do you love about the people who are gone? What do you love about the people that are in your life? You may never have articulated that before. It can be very helpful to sit there and even just one thing. What do I love? I picture that person. Instead of, oh, they bug me about this, what is one thing I love about them? Now, that can be difficult with some difficult people in your life. Lord knows I have some of them. But it's worth using the turn on your hot light. That was totally my friend Lindsay saying, yeah, you're going to start singing Neil Diamond because I said so, okay? So think about the love in your heart. Use that love for other people and bring it into yourself, and then use that love that you have for yourself, that kindness, that generosity, that getting shit done, to make your life the best it can be until you end up being just a memory in somebody's heart. Okay? I hope this little sensitive moment felt good. I see some hearts kind of bubbling up on the side there, and some hearts and tears and feels and happy memories. Welcome to being a human. Yeah. If you're not feeling, you're a robot, you're a zombie, or you are somebody who has willingly turned to the dark side. Now, I offer hope for those people, but you know what? We're going to use our love and our humanity and our kindness and our generosity and our not taking shit from anybody to create a world within our four walls that we feel good about. And then when we start to realize it feels good here, then you'll want to expand, and you will want to do other things to create a world, a community, a neighborhood, a town, a county, a state, the positive ripple effect, to say, I can do this for love for myself and for other people that I don't even know. Oh, Marietta, my sister Patricia died 1 year ago this month from breast cancer. Okay. Yeah. And so, Marietta, my heart goes out to you, losing a sister. Yeah. And so soon. Notice that losing a person can throw you into an emotional state where clutter and nothing seems important. What's it all about, Alfie? And sometimes you don't know. Is that all there is? So my heart goes out to you. I hope you're feeling a little bit more at peace and at ease, and the love from your sister, and less of the pain than you did this time last year. She was only 58, right? None of us know when we're going to go. So let's make the most of our lives that we have while we're here. That is one of the best ways we can honor the people that went before us, by live till you die. They would want us to be embracing the life we have, because they don't have it anymore. And they're looking down at us. This is what I say. And they're, oh my God, you're stressing out about a freaking couple of blankets? Let it go. Let it go and just enjoy. If it brings you down, nobody wants to. Don't bring me down, Bruce, right? Okay. And as Carla Jane said, the blessing of sorrow is that it means we loved. We experienced something that not everybody can say. We have loved in the past. We love right now, and we will love again. And love takes many shapes and forms, you know? So, Farm Girl, you're saying very profound. I'm just a human on the planet. This is how I talk to myself. It makes me feel better. It gives me focus and purpose. And it reminds me what to do in my life before I die. Yeah, deep end of the pool today, Laura Voorhees. We're talking about love. All right. So, deep end of the pool, but we've got about 14 minutes to go. And I don't, staying in the deep end can be good, but sometimes it can be exhausting. I feel like we're kind of, we're swimming around, we're treading water, but sometimes I like to put my foot down and still be able to breathe. So let's swim over to the more shallow end, shall we? Okay, there's nothing wrong with the shallow end. They're all part of the same ocean, the same swimming pool, the same movie stars. So here's something fun. Let's go to the superficial love. Okay? Yeah, you enjoy seeing the fishes. Right. When that feels too much, then you swim closer to shore and it feels good. To put your foot down on the sand and not on a crab. I feel grounded. I can still float, but I can also put my foot down. All right. So here, let's go over to the shallow end of the pool. Anybody got any fun Valentine's Day plans? Do you have a Valentine card you're going to give to somebody? Sorry. I have learned to check my Ring camera because the other day I think I told you guys that our neighbor came to drop something off and he fell. So now I'm a little bit more aware of that. I believe we just got something, what do I want to say, delivered. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. This is when commercial things try to make us buy stuff, and sometimes we fall for it. Marietta is saying, let me help you with this. I want to go skiing. Notice this. Okay, over here is I want to go skiing. Over here is I am going skiing. What's the difference? What are the things in between? What are the things that are that could change you from saying I want to go skiing to I have a plan. I am going skiing tomorrow. Think about that. Yay, Laura Voorhees. Well, we'll miss you next week. I mailed out cards yesterday. And tomorrow we go to the hotel so we can get on the cruise in the morning. You have an awesome time. I love it. Yep. Yeah. Yes. And Carla Jane's love says, I love realizing that there was a problem. And I cared enough about myself and my children to do it differently. So notice, I recognize that the way I was brought up didn't work. And I love that I noticed that so I can change it. Yeah. So, yay. Have an awesome time, Laura Voorhees. Notice bliss and relaxation. Okay. Marietta says, I'm 61, still young, so conditions in the Poconos might be too warm and mushy. The older I get, the more conditions matter, so I got to get to upstate New York for good conditions. Okay. Yeah. And notice that the conditions need to be right where I feel safe for my physical body and my nervous system. My nervous system is alert to be aware, and I don't want to break a hip. So I will go to the places where the conditions make me feel better. You're going to the New York's, the Poconos or whatever, and I'm going to Palm Springs. I love it. And Laura's going on a cruise. I will miss you guys. You will think of us fondly. Please do not hop onto the internet. We will be loving you and sending excitement when you are on your trip. Unplugging will be good. Yes, being in the now. Now, this is a now right here, but also getting away from stuff can help you sometimes see things more clearly when you return. And we will continue to keep the country together with love and care and kindness and not taking any shit. You do not worry. We will take care of things when you're away. So you do not have to worry and you can just go in your caftan with your tropical drink on the Lido deck of the Love Boat. Okay? So yay. Yay for you. Because you know what? You guys are going to do the same for me. I have in the past hopped on to YouTubes and TikToks when I've traveled. Sometimes I've planned that and then I've said, "Oh, damn, this kind of is getting in my way of fully being in the now." Other times I've done it when I felt like it and popped up. So I have learned to purposely step away so that I feel joy and anticipation in returning to what I'm doing. And I know that you guys will do well on your own without me. If anything, my absence reminds you of when you have kind of become habituated to when I show up doing a live. And you may be like, whoa, that's right. She's not going to be doing a live. What can I do to keep moving forward even when Beth isn't here? Okay. Yeah. And I say this because I'm looking at my travel schedule, my travel calendar right now. I did move it. I much prefer the way I have it down now. It's looking good. And I am saying that there's going to be a number of times coming up in March, in April. May looks pretty empty, but I'm going to switch that. June, all sorts of things where you get the opportunity to practice without the training wheels. All right. Yeah. Now, Narelle, I love this, especially because you're from another country. Notice the different perspective. That is what's great about travel, the perspective you get about your life, your home, and your country. Yeah. I find it illuminating to no end that that studies have shown that so many people who are on the side of hate and fear and anger are people that never see things from another perspective. They think that what they see is all there is, and there's a whole world out there. And there are problems in every country, but man, are there a lot of good things that other countries do right, do better than we do right now, especially right now in the United States. This place is a dumpster fire. And yet, we can put out the dumpster fire. We are actively trying to contain the dumpster fire. And perhaps from that fire, better things will grow out of it. That's what we're working towards, right? Now, Carla Jane, I will offer this. Anybody here, and I think Judy Dukes is here too. Anybody who is familiar with doing a Zoom, okay? Carla Jane says, I'm going to try my best to do a live thing when you are gone. Okay, I can help you practice that if you want, Carla Jane. So you could do a TikTok live, you could do a YouTube live, whatever. What you could do is also any of those things you want to try to do, just let me know. And while I'm still here, I can be part of the audience and help you walk through the steps of being the leader. Okay, Carla Jane? So we have, I would say, this will be the sweet spot for us to get together and anybody else who wants to do this. All right. But here's where I'm going to flip it. Before I have had a thing where I have created a Zoom and I have said, show up if you want to learn how to do one. I'm down for the YouTube. Okay. So Carla Jane doing a YouTube. Okay. So one of the things you might want to do is I would just Google this myself. How do I do a YouTube live? You may need your own YouTube account, which I think you already do because it says Carla Jane 2397. Now, I know that when I was doing when I first started wanting to do TikTok lives, because I used to do Facebook lives for when I was doing my books and stuff, I needed a certain amount of followers to even do a live. So you might want to, one of the steps in order to do this, and this is for anybody who wanted to do a YouTube live is see what the instructions are. Carla Jane, if you look up those instructions, because again, I want to try to help you remind yourself to take action. I could spoon feed this stuff to everybody, but I want to help you learn how to feed yourself, to go out and get the information and find out what you need for the YouTube. Okay? I think we all, if you want to do this, Carla Jane, see, we can work together. If you want to schedule being a person who is scheduling a YouTube live, let's work behind the scenes. You and I can come up with a day and time where you will be the person who puts it on. And then what I can do is when you have decided on the day and time, the test run, we can do a test run with just you and me or just yourself. I've done that with my husband before. You could do it with your daughter, just practicing. Nobody needs to know. You can keep it private. But when you feel more comfortable about it and you want to invite our crew, the neat thing is you can just tell me when it is and I can get the word out. I will send out an email to everybody to say, hey, Carla Jane is going to do a Zoom on, or excuse me, a YouTube live on this day and time when I am going to be absent. You're going to be like like a substitute teacher in a way. Okay. So Carla Jane, you and I can talk outside of it, but I just want you to think of, and I want you to write this down. What are some of the steps that you think that you don't know how to do it so we can find out how to know it? Research, practice, doing things on a small scale. Okay, we can make this happen. Okay, and let's do it, shall we? So follow up with me about that. If it's important to you, you will follow up with me about that, and I know you're good about it. Anybody else who's also interested in that, I'm not going to gatekeep. If you want to do that, yeah. Yep. Laura Voorhees says, I did a lot of Zoom meeting leading during COVID days as a teacher, but I'm rusty. Now notice that I am rusty, but even rusty things you can get working again. It may be hard at the beginning. So you look bloop, 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 kind of like the, who was that? The Tin Man, right? You know, the little, beep, beep, beep. You get the little, the oil can. You can loosen up those joints. You can get less rusty. Okay. So I'm happy to help you learn how to do these things yourselves. But what is that one about the fish and the teaching of the fishing and the eating in the fish and all this? I want to help you help yourself. And if it's important to you, you know how to get in touch with me. The best way to get in touch with me is to email me, beth@destinationdecluttered.com. Reach out and say, yes, I'm interested. I would like to. And it could be a Zoom, it could be a YouTube, it could be whatever you want. I can help you with my knowledge so that you can do it. Yes, oil can. Yep. Yes, teach a man to fish or a woman. Teach a person to fish, and then they can feed themselves. And they can feed themselves and other people who may not be able to fish. Sound good? Now I want some fish. Maybe I'll have some fish for lunch. Okay. Boy, did we cover a lot of good stuff today, huh? We talked about love. Sorry, Van Halen. We are talking about love. We got into the deep end. We swum around with the fishes. We waded on over to where we can put our feet down on the sand and not be stepping on a spiny thing. And we can hang out and chat in the pool and now we're going from the shallow end and we're going to walk out knowing that this pool is always here whenever you want it to happen. Okay? Gina Mead, I'm glad you think today was extra great. And you know what makes things extra great? Love. Love in every color of love. Okay? Every color. All of it. Love for garlic, love for the Beatles, love for my husband, love for our community, love for people that we don't even know. You keep love in your heart, and that makes things extra great. Okay? Now, I love you guys enough to be mindful of your time and my time. So happy Valentine's Day. I look forward to hanging out with any of you who sign up for tomorrow's declutter parties. 8 a.m. Eastern for the early birds, noontime for the sleeper inners. And there's one on Sunday too, the 15th at 11 a.m. All of that is on the secret page. You know how to use it. If it's important to you, you'll show up. If not, no big deal. Okay? I'm going to go off. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have love in my heart. And I will see you when I see you. All right. Bye bye. And Laura Voorhees, bon voyage. Okay. Happy Valentine's Day, gals. All right. I'll see you later.